so now we're going to look at the video of the other basic trig functions. So we're going to do derivative of tangent, cotangent, secant, and cosecant. In order to do these, however, I just want to review these concepts with you from pre-calc. So you're going to have to use these in our derivatives. So we're going to, this video will have the proof of 4 derivatives. Actually, I'm going to have 3 of them, and then you're going to do the 4th at the end. So let's take what the derivative of tangent is. Okay, so the derivative of tangent, we know that from above, the tangent can be rewritten as the derivative of sine over cosine. Okay, and now we have a quotient rule that we can do here. So I'm going to say that this is equal to the cosine squared of x, and cosine x is going to go up here, times the derivative of sine is cosine, minus the numerator, which is sine of x, times the derivative of cosine is negative sine. And then that result is cosine squared x plus sine squared of x over your cosine squared of x. We know that this trig identity here is equal to 1, so that ends up being 1 over the cosecant squared of x, and we know that cosecant squared of x, 1 over the cosine is equal to the secant squared of x. So that gives us the proof of why the derivative of the tangent is equal to the secant squared of x. Okay, moving on now to the cotangent. So we're going to take the derivative of the cotangent of x. Okay, we know that cotangent from here is going to be the cosine of x divided by the sine of x. So I need to take the derivative of cosine over sine. Okay, well the derivative, this is a quotient rule, so the derivative of this is going to be sine squared of x over sine squared of sine of x times the derivative of cosine is negative sine minus cosine of x times the derivative of sine is cosine. Okay, so that's going to result in negative sine squared of x minus, this shouldn't have been cosine squared up here, should have just been cosine, minus the cosine squared of x over the sine squared of x. So we know that this, if I factor out a negative, sine squared plus cosine squared of x would be 1. So this is going to be negative 1 over sine squared of x. And negative 1 over your sine is equal to negative cosecant squared of x. So that gives us that the derivative of the cotangent of x is equal to that. Okay. And lastly, now we're going to look at what the derivative of the secant of x is. Okay. Well, we know that the secant of x is 1 over your cosine of x. And then we use quotient rule here. We're going to get cosine squared of x. Then you're going to take the cosine of x times the derivative of this, which is 0, minus 1 times the derivative of the denominator is negative sine of x. So that's going to leave us with 0 plus the sine of x over the cosine squared of x. Okay, and we won't leave it in this form. What we're going to leave it in is a form of sine of x over cosine of x times 1 over the cosine of x. Okay, we know that sine over cosine is equal to tangent x, and we know 1 over the cosine is secant x. So usually we switch this order and we just say it's secant x tangent x. So we can say that the derivative of the secant of x is equal to this. Okay, now for Google Classroom, I would like you to upload a picture and tell me what the derivative of the cosecant of x is. Okay, and upload that answer, and you should be able to check your formula sheet to make sure it's accurate before you upload it. Okay, good luck.